Red Fisher poses for a photograph next to two photos from Moscow in 1972, top left and photo underneath, in his memorabilia room at his home in Côte-St-Luc in Montreal on Friday, August 31, 2012. In the top photo, Fisher, right, is seated next to an unknown woman in a Moscow metro car in 1972. Underneath, Fisher poses in front of the monument to the Conquerors of Space in Moscow in 1972. Dario Ayala, the Gazette The Washington Capitals won't be the only ones wearing some red when they play Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final Monday night against the Vegas Golden Knights, 8 p.m., CBC, SN, NBC, TVA Sports, members of the Professional Hockey Writers Association covering the game in Las Vegas have been asked to wear something red in honor of Red Fisher, the legendary hockey writer with the Montreal Star and Gazette who died in January at age 91. Fisher covered the Canadiens for 57 years, writing about 17 Stanley Cup championship teams and 15 players who ended up in the Hockey Hall of Fame. He won 3 national newspaper awards, and was named a member of the Order of Canada. Fisher, who retired from the Gazette in 2012, died 10 days after his wife of 69 years, Tilly, passed away, ending what was a beautiful love story. Last week, PHWA President Mark Spector sent an email out to all members, writing, "On that Game 1, we will honor Red Fisher by wearing something red to the game, or wherever you may be watching. A tie, sash, hanky, socks, whatever you choose. Please tag at the wall with some pics. We'll have some fun with it, enjoy the final." As a member of the PHWA and someone who worked with Fisher for more than 20 years, I think it's a fantastic idea and a real nice way to remember the legendary hockey writer. It was an idea we had in the PHWA. Executive thought there should be a way to honor Red, Spector said in a phone interview on Saturday. It really got a lot of positive response. When the day comes, you write a memorable, loving piece about a guy like Red. This is something where you can pay your homage by wearing a red tie, or a woman can wear a red blouse or dress. I don't want to say it's easy to do, but it's nice because it's a nice, subtle homage to Red, and hopefully it catches on because we've never really done something like this. In today's world, people pass and we honor them like crazy for 3 days and then it goes away, added Spector, who is a senior columnist for Sportsnet.ca. I just kind of felt Red is a founding father and holder of our #1 PHWA membership card, which has been retired. If ever there was a guy that we should really honor in a place, that he would have been sitting in a chair most years for the last about 50 cups. Game 1 of the final seemed perfect, indeed. In 2004, when Fisher wrote a feature series in the Gazette on the top 10 moments of his career, Paul Henderson's winning goal in the historic 1972 Summit Series for Canada against the Soviet Union came in at No. 1. That was followed by Montreal's Richard Riot on Street Patrick's Day 1955, which was also the first Canadiens game Fisher ever covered, when fans rioted in response to NHL President Clarence Campbell's decision days earlier to suspend Maurice "Rocket" Richard for the final week of the season in the playoffs after a stick-swinging duel with Boston defenseman Hal Lako. 2 of Fisher's top 10 moments included Stanley Cup Finals the Canadiens ended up winning. At No. 6 was goalie Patrick Waugh winning 10 straight overtime games, including 3 in the final against the Los Angeles Kings, to win the Cup in 1993, and at No. 7 was rookie goalie Ken Dryden helping the Canadiens beat the Chicago Blackhawks in Game 7 of the 1971 final. Like anyone who got to know Fisher, Spector has his favorite personal memory of him. It comes from the 2003 Outdoor Heritage Classic game between the Canadiens and Edmonton Oilers at Commonwealth Stadium, when the temperature dipped near -30°C with the wind chill. Fisher didn't drink a lot of alcohol, but when he did, the only drink he liked was Chivas Scotch. We were in the football press conference and, of course, Red was assigned to sit at center field, first row, because he's Red Fisher, recalled Spector, who has been covering the NHL since the late 1980s. Red brought with him a bottle of Chivas because it was a very cold day and we were drinking out of styrofoam press box coffee cups. My favorite memory of Red was getting a chance that day just to sit and sip on a Chivas over a memorable, I'm not going to say historic, hockey game and a chance to talk with one of the greatest hockey writers of all time. What I think it said for me, and I was a younger guy then, but when you broke bread with Red, when you sat down and he poured you a little Chivas and you chatted, you really felt like, okay, I belong here now. These are my people and I'm accepted. When you were okay by Red, I think you were okay by everybody. Guys like Red don't exist anymore. That's why it's important to remember and honor him. Spector added. There's no more Reds coming at you. They broke the mold. That's just another one of the reasons why he's missed. Yes, he is. RIP Red. Cowan at postmedia.com, twitter.com/StuCowan. One Red single quote S top 10 moments. In 2004, Red Fisher wrote a feature series in the Montreal Gazette on the top 10 moments of his career, a personal ranking of games he had covered during more than 5 decades on the NHL beat. Here's his list. 1. Paul Henderson scores the winning goal in the dying moments of Game 8 in the historic 1972 Summit Series between Team Canada and the Soviet Union. 2. The Richard Riot on Street. Patrick's Day 1955, when fans at the Forum responded to NHL President Clarence Campbell's decision days earlier to suspend Maurice "Rocket" Richard for the final week of the season in the playoffs after a savage stick-swinging duel with Boston defenseman Hal Laco. 3. The 1961 playoff game between the Canadiens and Blackhawks in Chicago, which Fisher called the greatest game among the thousands I've seen. Goalies Jacques Plante and Glenn Hall were the stars as the Blackhawks won 2-1 in triple overtime. 4. On November 1, 1959, after being hit in the face with a shot and suffering a savage cut, Canadiens goalie Jacques Plante, hockey's greatest innovator, returns to the ice wearing a mask for protection. 5. Despite being outshot 38-13, the Soviets, led by goalie Vladislav Tretiak, battled to a 3-3 tie at the Forum on New Year's Eve 1975 in what some call their greatest game ever played. 6. Goaltender Patrick Waugh leads the Canadiens on an incredible journey to their 24th Stanley Cup in 1993, including 10 overtime victories. 7. Rookie goaltender Ken Dryden is a surprise playoff starter and leads the Canadiens to victory over the Chicago Blackhawks in Game 7 of the 1971 Stanley Cup Final. 8. Bruins boss Tom Johnson's decision to bench goalie Jerry Cheevers in favor of Eddie Johnston for a 1971 playoff game against the Canadiens results in the mother of all meltdowns as Boston blows a 5-2 third-period lead. 9. The Boston Bruins were on their way to victory over the Canadiens in Game 7 of the 1979 Stanley Cup semifinals when a late too many men on the ice penalty winds up costing them the game, which Montreal wins on an overtime goal by Yvon Lambert. 10. Referee Red Story quits the NHL after a 1959 playoff game between the Canadiens and Blackhawks in which he had to deal with irate Chicago fans, followed by criticism from league president Clarence Campbell.